economy. And a lot of people have been wondering when the slowdown is going to happen with housing. We thought it was already going to be in place. Last year, people thought by this time in 2022 that we would be seeing a slowdown in housing. And in fact, we got the exact opposite, right? We saw rates going up, people panicked, inventory levels are already low, bidding wars, even more craziness in the housing market. Well, now we're hearing, we have a big prediction out that says we could be on the cusp of a slowdown, which is kind of weird, right? Because springtime is usually the beginning of the home buying season. And I can tell you right now, it's great. It's great in North Carolina. Like today, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It was beautiful last weekend. Feels like spring is already here, in all honesty. And it is. Well, actually, it is. See, I told you I was busy this weekend. I wasn't paying attention. It actually became spring this weekend, but it's gorgeous outside. Spring is upon us. And usually that means a big jump in home sales. However, Ian Shepherdson, chief economist and founder at Pantheon Macroeconomics, thinks that this spring season is going to be the beginning of a big drop in home buying activity, saying in a note, quote, "The housing market is in the early stages of a substantial downshift in activity, which will trigger a steep decline in the rate of increase of home prices starting perhaps as soon as the spring." So like I said, it's kind of a weird time where this is normally the time that home buying kicks into full gear, but that happened in the middle of January. And so that normal slowdown that maybe we see in the summer maybe also got pushed up and then some. Shepherdson is making this prediction based on falling mortgage demand, which we talk about here on this podcast a lot. And we know refi activity is way down, like 50%, I believe was the last number, or at least close to it. And that does get a lot of attention. Purchase activity, according to the latest data from the Mortgage Bankers Association, was off 8% when compared to the same time last year. So yes, refi activity is down big, which really doesn't have an impact on the housing market directly. I mean, people refinancing a home that they're in helps them out, may provide some sort of impact somewhat to the economy, but it's purchase demand that gives you an idea of what is happening with regards to people buying new homes. And that is off 8% from the same time 1 year ago. And as I mentioned, the overall economy is impacted by housing. A drop in home sales could have a big impact on the overall economy. Shepherdson saying in the note, quote, "A sustained drop in home sales," that's new home sales will fall too, "would be a direct drag on GDP growth at the margin via downward pressure on residential investment in all the services like legal, removals, and others directly tied to sale volumes. It would also depress retail spending on building materials, appliances, and household electronics." Now, a lot of people are jumping on this as dire news for housing and, of course, the overall economy. However, as we know, and we talk about every day on this podcast, at least when I'm able to record the podcast, the housing market is so hot right now that I think everyone kind of wants to see a slowdown, and it's kind of necessary to avoid another bubble forming. For a year, we saw double-digit price inflation. Actually, more than that, probably 18 months of double-digit home price appreciation. And very few economists, like legit ones, not Facebook economists, were worried about a bubble. But I told you at the start of this year, you started to hear a little bubbling from economists that they are worried about this continued record price, this record home price growth. And so I think this news will be a welcome sign by many. And some would say, we're already in a bubble. Well, they've been saying that for 5 years, and I would not put much weight into what they have to say. It's like the J-Lo is pregnant people or Jennifer Aniston's pregnant people in like the Hollywood gossip magazines. They always say it. And it never was right. And it's like they always would make this argument. Well, actually, does J-Lo have kids? I actually have no idea if they ever. Jennifer Aniston never did. But they were, oh, look, she might be pregnant. She might be pregnant. And they never got it right. And they never got called for every week making this assumption in the tabloid magazines. And that's what these people who are like, bubble, it's another bubble, 2008, that they're the same, exactly the same. They're just as bad as the paparazzi. Just as bad, if not worse, because some idiots listen to them and then try and make home buying decisions. Oh, I'm going to time the market. The market's going to crash. It's not going to happen. All right. And in fact, Shepherdson even says that. He's not arguing prices are going to drop. He's arguing they're going to slow, saying, quote, falling sales will hit economic growth at the margin, but rising supply will dampen price gains. And slowing price increases eventually will feed into slowing rent inflation, but likely not until next year. So as I said, you talk to anyone in housing, they're going to cheer this prediction. Slowing prices and slowing demand is exactly what we need to calm things down. The only people that are going to be upset by this is someone looking to sell their home and we're hoping to get $100,000 over asking. They're the ones who are going to be like, oh no, the housing market. No, it's fine. Trust me. And if everything is so hot, I mean, you have what? 50 offers on a house right now? So let's say the housing market, let's say demand decreases by 95%. So now you have 5 people bidding on a home? That's still not bad. You're still going to have bidding wars. That's how crazy things are. And they got to slow down. They have to. And so, like I said, some people will say, oh no, this is a horrible thing. But talk to anyone in housing, they're going to go, good. We need things to calm down. Because you know what?